Hey everybody, Stacy here with New Creations by Stacy. Guys, when I first started this piece, I had a completely different idea of where I was going, but then some things came up. Wasn't able to work on it for a couple months. So when I pulled it back out, I had a completely different inspiration. So I decided to go ahead and decoupage on the lily pads paper by Dixie Belle Paint Company. I'm using the decoupage gel in matte by Redesign with Prima. And then I've got a scrunched up piece of saran wrap just to get out all the wrinkles. Guys, the Terra clay paint colors are perfect with this lily pads decoupage paper. I'm using a palette knife to kind of blend in the paper. I want a little bit of texture to hide that line. I used almost all of the Terra clay paint colors, including elderberry, marigold, bougainvillea, wisteria mist, pistachio, blue agave, moonbeam, galaxy, London blue, blue moon, onyx, malachite, and wheat. Throughout this process, I'm using a little art brush to kind of dab in and smooth those colors together, as well as I've got a little lint-free paper towel that's damp, and I'm just kind of dabbing back here and there because I am painting up into the decoupage paper to kind of blend that all together. If you watch to the end, I do have a close-up of this section so you can kind of see how well that all blends together. Can't even tell the difference between the decoupage paper and where I painted on this drawer. I also used an art brush to blend in between the drawers as well as on the top of the drawer lip. When I originally started working on this piece, I added texture with sea spray, so I already have that in there. So I switched over to a French tip brush and an artist brush to kind of bring some of the details around and then blend it to a cloudy blend on the side. So one thing that was a little more challenging for me on this particular piece was carrying the directionality around. On the top of the decoupage paper, it's more vertical. Once you come down into the landscape, then it becomes more horizontal. So I just tried to use the direction of my brush strokes as well as the colors to kind of carry that around and make it a seamless transition. I do also, from the previous design, have a raised dragonfly stencil on here from the Enchanted Garden by Dixie Belle Paint Company. I could have sanded those off, but I thought I could work them in and they would look well with this particular paper. After this step, I did protect with 2 coats of Terra Tough, which of course I forgot to record. No big surprise there. I do that before I go into the detail work here because if I mess something up or if I want to wipe it back, I can definitely do that and I won't be wiping off any of the paint since it is protected. I'm using coffee bean here to dry brush the edges to add a little depth and dimension. I did also dry brush the dragonflies. Then I came back in with Besting Wax in black and brown to add a little bit more detail in the cracks and crevices. Here I'm using lilac, apricot, and cactus in the chameleon waxes to bring out the dragonfly's wings. In addition, I did add a little bit of bronze and copper gilding wax on the dragonfly's bodies. And then I came back in and used a fan brush with the bronze and copper gilding wax on all of the details. I also lined out just a few of the edges. Guys, in person, a lot of times you don't see this in the pictures, but in person, this detail work makes such a huge difference. Hope you enjoyed this video, and you can find any of these products as well as the piece on my website at www.newcreationsbystacy.com.